My Gavanen, welcome back to the Anduin. We are continuing our conquest, as it were, of Guldur and Guldur. Now, this is episode number 4 of the Anduin, and as I say, all of the other ones were recorded together, back to back, so I wasn't able to answer any of your comments. Having now read plenty of the comments, most of you seem to be genuinely in support of the Anduin and think that the new version will be quite enjoyable. There were very few dissenting voices, to be honest. Many of you, of course, were not surprised at the death of a couple of generals, but then that's par for the course, isn't it? And other than that, though, there weren't really too many questions, to be honest. I don't think, in fact, there were any. One of the main questions that was repeatedly shown and everyone keeps asking and banging on about is, when will version 5 release? And I, of course, cannot give you a date to when version 5 will release, but what I can tell you is that it is at least like a year to 2 years away, so just stop asking for it. We will not release any aspects of version 5 until the whole thing is ready to go, so you won't get an Anduin only release, which some people have suggested. That just won't happen. We're going to have to attack this person. So it will release when every faction that is to be overhauled has been overhauled, and they are, of course, Anduin, Enedwaith, Dunland, Cand, and Moria. Now, Anduin is already done. Cand is a very, very minor overhaul, won't take very long at all. Moria's is... Dunland's is relatively straightforward as well. It's Enedwaith and Moria that both will need the time. Let's turn all the UI back on. Now, what we need to do here is avoid this fellow until our reinforcements can arrive, because we need to group our forces together or we just simply will not win here. Now, they are crappy little orc band, and our units are quite good, but remember they've got javelins. And javelins, of course, are not fantastic in Medieval 2, but they are still at least a threat, and something we need to watch out for. We've also, if we can wangle it, we've got this hill here. I don't want anyone to sprint until absolutely necessary, but we seem to have frozen the AI, paralysed them, if you will. This week, there will be 2 more Anduin episodes, so Dol Amroth is taking what will be like a 2-week break, because I like to do the first 5 episodes of any campaign. So the first, by the time you're watching this, there have already been 2 Feradir episodes from Skyrim this week, and then that takes that to 5 episodes, and Skyrim will then be once a week, probably on Saturdays, just because whilst I'm enjoying playing it, I might as well record it. It's nowhere near as popular as Divide and Conquer, but that is to be expected. Anduin and Dol Amroth will then take turns each week, so there'll be 2 videos of each per week, and then of course each Sunday will be a faction lore video. Is the general setup. So there'll be 2 Anduin videos this week, and then 2 Dol Amroth ones next week. Dol Amroth will continue for the time being, and ideally, if I can then replace it with another overworked faction, reworked faction, that would be the goal, of course. And ideally, I'd like that to be Enedwaith, because I feel like they're in a different enough position to not feel too samey to Anduin, and also because Enedwaith are going to be really overhauled. I think Enedwaith, to be honest, will be the most changed from their previous version, so I'd quite like to see that one. Now, if we can get in and hit these orc fighters early doors, then the javelins won't get too many throws off. So I think what we're going to do, definitely they're moving, use the confusion to our advantage, pull right in amongst them, do not let them get in there. No, we're still getting showered with javelins. Right, to give you just an idea, Bjorning Spearmen have an attack of 5 and a defense of 14. But remember, they are spearmen, and spearmen aren't particularly good at killing things. Orc fighters have an attack of 7, but a defense of only 5. So they're more aggressive than we are, but their defense is 3 times as bad. By comparison, though, our Valesmen are just worse across the board than both the fighters and the javelins at the back, the hunters. But the hunters, again, are worse. Once they finish with their javelins, they don't have that much to offer. But what we do have, of course, is numbers. If we can divide and conquer like this... Pun intended. If we can divide and conquer like this, then we should be able to take it. But those javelins are getting free volleys on us, which is really annoying, because I was hoping they wouldn't throw them. But surely that's all of your javelin volleys done. Oh no, we are losing. I think we are actually going to lose. Once they get involved, we'll be outnumbered.
We've lost half of our men.
And unfortunately, the Valesmen are going down. The fighters, yeah, the fighters are just slaughtering us. Yeah, we've lost. We've lost.
For defeat seems almost
I had hoped that we would be able to take them, but spearmen just aren't good enough to deal with dedicated fighting units. And so it remains. Spearmen can hold a line until the cows come home. Well, they can hold a line better than other units, but they just can't get anything. So we've lost Gundabad, and we're going to have to then divert forces back to town. Goblin Town, I mean, sorry. Something of note is that on the day that I'm actually recording this video, it was my birthday. And it may come as a surprise to you all to learn that I'm 29 years of age. Very disappointing indeed. Life's basically over, might as well throw in the towel. But there we are. I thought I'd mention that. And so here I am on my own birthday recording videos for you all. Disgrace. Well, Goblin Town, I suppose, is not yet lost. Ah, no, yes, it is. Annoyingly. Oh, that's so frustrating. Right, we need to send, like, even just one unit will probably be able to do it. One general, but... Here you go, look, we've got a couple of units here. You guys will be able to do it. Take some Valesmen with you. They'll pop back and capture it. So you go back to Meitelberg, because it doesn't have anything in it at the moment. He's going to take Yulstone and just burn everything to the ground and then back out. We're not going to try and defend there. We want to defend in Framsberg. But over here in the east, we have to go through Guldur. Captain Mauduf. Mauduf has 4 units, 2 of which are just garbage trash. I mean, they did just defeat us, but they're garbage trash when considered against this army. So we'll quickly deal with Mauduf over here. Something that did get asked, and has been asked a few times, is that there's a project for Medieval 2 at the moment that extends all of the limitations on the game. So it allows you to have more regions, more units, more factions, more cultures, more religions, etc. Which, of course, would be fantastic for a mod like Divide and Conquer, because we wouldn't add any new factions, but we could certainly give more form and more uniqueness to the existing ones. But we aren't going to use that extension mod, primarily because Medieval 2, as many of you know, cannot properly utilize 4 GB of RAM, and without using the large address aware patch already, Divide and Conquer just crashes all the time. So people who can't actually use the large address aware patch basically cannot play this game. And it's something we see commonly. People who are saying, oh, I tried the LAA patch, and then the game wouldn't start. And it's like, oh, sorry, friend, that means you're basically not going to be able to play. You can play, but your game will crash all the time. And I mean all the time. It'll be like every 3 or 4 turns. It's really annoying. What we want to do here is make sure our archers get all their shots off. And the extension project would just exacerbate that. DaC is already pushing up close to using the 4 GB limit, let alone the 2 GB limit. And so extending into that, I'm not down with. But the main reason why we don't actually want to add that is because we haven't worked on it. And so none of us know specifically how to use it, and utilizing someone else's mod normally is fine, but utilizing someone else's mod which is groundbreaking and has only been out for like 2 months, there could be any number of really fatal bugs with that mod that we just simply do not know about. And the biggest problem would be we wouldn't know how to fix it. And were we paid for this project, absolutely, we'd spend the time, invest the time looking into how to actually make it work. But because we aren't, we'd rather just finish refining the factions that we know, rather than sort of wasting our time, if you will, fiddling around with a mod that we didn't create, that could well have a fundamental flaw that we won't be able to fix if there is one, because we didn't make the mod, we don't understand how it works. So that's one of the considerations, and the other consideration being that DaC's just getting too big anyway, so to make it even bigger just doesn't benefit anybody. So we won't be using that. Some people have asked about that. I think we're finally about there. The archers should soon be able to actually fire on the enemy. The minute the enemy is happily sitting in the forest and waiting for Gleowine to use up all of his ammunition. But as they eke out of the forest, they foolishly come in range of our main archer battalions. Companies. I'm trying to get used to saying company. Not necessarily because that's the right word to say, the right military term, but because Tolkien always used the term company to describe a group of military units. And so I'm trying to use his terminology where possible. But I keep slipping back into calling them battalions because that's what I've called them for years. Years and years and years and years. But this one is going much better. 20% of the enemies died. We haven't even met in combat yet. We want to try and get some javelin throws off first before we charge the cav in. The Orc Maulers are a prime target if you can target them. Are they going for Gleerwine? They are, aren't they? Oh, Gleerwine, you are most wanted. Right, charge you all forward, get a bit of a charge bonus. Oh, Gleerwine, how did you manage that?
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
I believe that the enemy is routing.
Behold how our cowardly foe runs. It's time
Ceasefire.
to press the attack.
Capture what you can. Capture what you can. How many of them are alive? 80. How's it only that much? I would have thought we'd kill way more than that. Let's only restart this as well. We'll call it about 5-2. What are we on now? 91%. So who's still alive here? 25 of them are still alive. That's mad. Don't throw your javelins at them, just capture them. And the horse archers, and we are in position nicely. Go on, get them all.
This is a clear victory.
Perfect. 41 brave souls perished, and 828 of the 882 Uruk and Orc forces before us fell to the sword. The Anduin will rise anew from the ashes of its past. It doesn't really have any ashes in its past, to be honest. We don't, again, the Bjornings, we know absolutely nothing about. And I think, if I were to ruminate for a moment, I think that the Bjornings were added to the story of The Hobbit as a nice little fantasy element. Oh, shapeshifters, how interesting. And then when Tolkien came to actually really flesh out his legendarium in the rest of his life, he just never revisited the shapeshifters. And so they remain, much like Tom Bombadil, a complete anomaly. And we finally found it. Yes, Ostingile. Because we get mention of Bjorn here, obviously in The Hobbit, because he takes part in the Battle of the Five Armies, and it is he who carries Thorin's body away from the field. But and we also get mention of the Bjorn of Grimbeorn, and I think the Bjornings as a whole, by Gloin at the Council of Elrond in the Fellowship of the Ring, where he mentions that the men of the Anduin, or the Bjornings, are stout folk, and they hold open the passes of the mountains. And we get one of those interesting little confusion points we need to end the turn now, where he says that the tolls remain high. And I always read that as the loss of men remains high. So in order for the Bjornings to keep the passes open, the toll on their bloodline, the toll on the number of men fighting is high. So for every day they keep the pass open, they lose 2 more brave warriors. Whereas other people have read that as actual tolls. So to cross from one side of the mountains to the other, the Bjornings charge people to do that. Whereas I never read it like that, so I find that quite interesting. Oh, they own Runen as well. That's all the way up there. But the Wood Elves are coming down. That's good. Right, we're probably losing loads of money now because of losing Gnoblin Town. Have you not met the Gnoblins? They're a new type of unit. Goblin Town has fallen, but rest ye merry gentlemen, and worry not, because Captain Hathol has more than enough to take it back. Even though it's going to take 2 turns to get there, which is annoying.
Yes.
Oh, and King Mazog stands outside. I'm absolutely going to cheese you, you fool. Oh, he ran away. You little coward.
Victory.
All right, Mazlog stands alone.
We shall prevail. Muster your courage.
We'll kill Mazlug, and then we'll kill Mazog, and then we'll march further on and see what Gundabad has to offer. Whilst our force in the south keeps those of Dol Guldur busy. Right, archers, please, step forward. There's a task. Oh, we have plenty of you. Oh, the entire army is archers. Always good to know. Right, we won't really need anyone else, so all stand back there. Oh, I like this town. I like this battle map a lot. I always think it's good fun. Right, don't fire at will. So for now, just move into position. We'll move you to there, and Bjorn, come over there. And the little hobbits can come forward, even though they won't be able to do anything. And you also do that. Oh, and javelins, you might as well. Everything in this army is ranged. Oh, what a dream. What a dream. Right, yeah, everybody into position. I don't think the hobbits will be able to throw just yet, actually. Archers, are we all there? What's that? The hobbits standing in the way. Right, everyone ready? Commence. They're coming out, they're coming out. You're free to fire at will. I don't think you, as I say, your range is absolutely pathetic. So if you are able to actually throw any stones at all, it would be a miracle.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Oh dear, that's cripplingly bad, isn't it? Right, stop firing because you'll kill Grimbeorn. Stop firing and... Or Bjorn, sorry, I keep calling him Grimbeorn. Bjorn, if you'd be so kind to finish them off. Something that someone did suggest, and I'm just baffled as to why we've not done it before, is to give the Skin Changer Battalion, if we just quickly look over here, if we give the Skin Changer Battalion, if we actually give them an officer who will just be a normal Skin Changer, then at least the General will stand one line back as a minimum. And I'm surprised we've not thought of that before, to be honest. I don't know why we've just got the General up there on his own. So the Skin Changers will have a little more hardiness and survivability by just simply moving the General back a couple of places by popping in 2 officers. Now remember that the officers take on the stats of the unit that they are connected to, which lots of people dispute because they've seen officers last much longer than the unit themselves. But honestly, that is how the game calculates officers. There might be some sort of hidden boost to the officer, just purely because they're an officer that we don't know about. But let's exterminate the population. Wipe out everything. Oh, I can't destroy the mine. I don't want anything to do with this village. In truth, I know it's one of the places we can get watchtowers, but I don't think we need them here. So Gundabad can take it right back. I just wanted to abuse it for money for a moment. And then we'll kill Mazog. In exactly the same way, to be honest. If we auto-resolve he'll escape, so we've got to fight it. But officers do take on the stats of the unit they're with. So when you see Dark Numenorians or Mountain Uruks, for example, with Moria fighting with Snagger, they are just taller Snagger, and they will die very easily. Right, I think the game plan will remain the same. All of you group together, stand in a nice long line, so that you're nice and ready, and hobbits come forward, and Beorn, you come forward too. And start the battle. I don't think they will... no, yeah, indeed. I didn't think they'd come and fight us, but I didn't think they'd run quite so far away. Oh, they've changed their minds, they've changed their minds, they've changed their mind. Into positions... Hobbits into positions. Come on. Get some shots off. What does Mazog have? Let's go and find out. Mazog has Pale Uruks, so they're shielded, they're armoured relatively, and they will deal well with this barrage of arrow fire. Well, they would deal well with a barrage of arrow fire if they weren't being shot by around about 800, no, hold on, 28, 600, no, there's about 800 people firing arrows at them. So even though they have shields and armour, the storm, unfortunately, that they are up against will perhaps be a touch too much for them. Also because they're dilly-dallying, and that never helps when you're trying to avoid a painful arrowy death. But I'll oblige them happily. We'll let them slowly ponder towards us whilst we use up all of our arrows, and then the hobbits can get involved, and then Bjorn and... Oh, we should bring you up, actually, because Bjorn might be outnumbered. I'm realising now that about 100 of them are surviving, and we're only halfway through the volleys. But the hobbits will get involved soon, and then their numbers really up. But look at the stun lock feature that arrows have. It's crazy.
The enemy are badly bloodied.
Oh, now the hobbits are getting involved. The numbers are dropping like flies. Those stones are so killer. Ah, there it is. I was going to warn you at the beginning, actually, that Steam will probably pop up halfway through this. I recently played Battlefield 4 this weekend because EA, in an attempt I assume to try and win back favour of basically everyone, have uploaded their almost entire gaming catalogue to Steam, give or take. And Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 were amongst them, and they massively reduced them. So this weekend I got Battlefield 4 for £6.99, which I thought was a steal. So I was playing that. And I already own Battlefield 1, and I'm ashamed to admit that I'm such a Steam achievement whore that I bought Battlefield 1 again just so that I could get the Steam achievements. And it's just finished downloading, and I'm going to now go and get them. But that one only cost a tenner, so I'm not aggrieved. And when I bought Battlefield 1 before, I don't think I paid full price for it. But Battlefield 4's multiplayer is ridiculously difficult because they take the silly decision to lock out the better weapons to people who have played for longer. So not only are the people who have played for 100 hours or 800 hours, they get the best weapons, but they've also got the experience of 100 hours. And the rest of us, who have never played the game before, and I'm coming in at level 3, not only am I then rubbish at the game, because I've never played, but I've also got to use the worst weapons in the game. In my first multiplayer bout, sorry, this is so tangential, but it's only a loading screen. In the first multiplayer bout, I died 35 times, and I killed 8 people. And you just wonder why you're playing at that point. It's so difficult to get through that curve.
Honorable, glorious victory!
Haha, huzzah, Mazog is gone. Gundabad has lost. The Ardenheim and Dol-Amroth gone to war. Gundabad have lost a major player in their war.
Your orders.
And our army can return to Framsburg with its head held high, knowing that we've delivered a blow. I think we might pop over to Rakyberg and give them a damn good going as well.
Your will, my lord.
Oh, Guldur has moved up to support Ostingeil, Town of the Stars. Gorol defends the town, and Captain Zagbug and Ashakter have come to support, but they don't have any troops, so they're all going to die.
My lord.
Do we want to actually siege it? Have we got the town? Yes, we definitely want to siege it, because it's an orc town, and they are garbage. Oh, they changed to the orc settlements, by the way. I hope to still be a thing, but if I may speak plainly and frankly, I'm not sure that much more battle map work will take place on the mod. It very much depends on which modding team members sort of remain active. And so, RK, if you are listening, do let us know an update of your whereabouts. But without RK, I'm afraid that map modelling, city map modelling, is essentially out the window because the rest of us don't really know how to do it and haven't really the drive at this late stage of the game to learn how to do something like that. So that may never come to fruition, I'm afraid. What we want to use here is our copious amounts of archers to just rain hell down upon them. I'm not sure we're going to need the cav, and that melee unit is garbage. I don't really want to get that involved. So, archers. There's no towers in these orcish settlements, which I quite like. I do like these orcish settlements. I think they are thematically fantastic. The orcs would put up these ramshackle nothing settlements because they're not builders. Everyone always tries to counter that point by saying, oh, but Galu, the orcs built Barad-dûr. And I just like to casually remind everyone that Barad-dûr took something like 200 years to build. By comparison, the Númenóreans had built Minas Tirith, Minas Ithil, Osgiliath, Tharbad, Anúminas, Fornost, Isengard, Helm's Deep, all within the space of 100 years. And in truth, within the space of about 50 years. Barad-dûr, by comparison, took at least 200. I think it actually took something like 700 years. I always forget the actual stat. And so the orcs are not builders in any stretch of the imagination. Sauron has to use the power of the ring to finish Barad-dûr, and so the orcs on their own are not building anything. They are rubbish builders. Sauron's building portfolio, if you will, consists of Barad-dûr and the Black Gate, and neither of which were built quickly. So the orcs having crappy little towns is not only thematic but completely lore accurate. So no, they're not going to get their own stone towns anytime soon. But what we were going to do, and hopefully will still do, is give them like ruined versions of other nations' towns. So the orc village, the orc town, and the orc large town would probably remain as these crappy, horrible little undefendable camps. But then when you get up to the city level, they will then change to become... Oh, please drop you around quicker than that. When they get up to the city level, they would then swap and become like a Northman town in ruins with some orc tents and things dotted around.
Like this, we will smash the enemy.
Why can't we shoot those? Can you shoot those? No, we're still out of range for them. That's annoying. But then we made them run away. And I think we've now captured the gate. Yeah. But we're now taking a shed load of fire. Get out, get out, get out. Don't just needlessly throw your lives in. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There must be somewhere that we can... Oh, it's right, they're moving slightly closer. The Guldur host has moved back in. Can you guys fire? What if you come around over here? Surely you can then. If we move into the city, we'll get attacked. I don't want that. Oh no, they've moved back with bodyguards forward and the archers have moved back. So now is our window. Now is our opportunity. So you all run in there. Ah, Gleerwine is under attack.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Run forward, run forward, run forward, run forward, run forward. Shoot whatever you want. Gleerwine can take losses, it doesn't matter. Mirkwood bodyguards are throwing their axes at us. The Guldur archers are down, but as expected, the archers targeted whatever they wanted because I had them on group mode. But it's alright, we only lost 10% even then.
Our men are in command of the city. The battle is very much... Our men no longer command the city.
Who's left? One archer. Down he goes.
There we go. The victory we have won here
144, that's not the end of the world. And a number of, at least 20 of those was Gleerwine's company, and they will recharge is what I want to say. That's not what I mean, is it? Respawn. They will respawn and fight another day. Live in glory in the halls of Anduin's afterlife. I don't think Anduin has an afterlife. I don't think, to be honest, anyone has an afterlife, despite Tolkien's obvious religious leanings. There aren't really any religions in Middle-earth.
Glory, honor, victory. A most noble
Oh, what should we do with this town?
conquest.
I'll kill them all, of course. Although we actually probably could use this one, maybe. No, it has 3% of our culture, and it'll be a long time before that changes. Where's our diplomat?
My lord,
Surely they want an alliance now.
This proposal is of good day to you.
You're very annoying, Thranduil. Very annoying indeed. If it continues this way, sir, I shall have no choice but to attack thee.
Yes, my lord.
Do not make it so. Once we get Goblin Town back, at least we'll get our money back up, and they might even build a building for us. You never know. The AI doesn't need Goblin Town in order to get Snagger, because obviously if you play as Gundabad and capture Goblin Town, you then get to recruit those crappy little units. But the AI does not need to capture it to recruit those crappy little units, so they can just get them straight away if they want. Oh, hang on, what was I doing with the other units from here? Well, we'll train them and then leave them for the moment. Austin Guile, your army has succeeded. What do we do with you? What do we do with you? What do we do with you? A tower would be nice here in the depths of the forest.
Your orders, my lord.
Give me a tower there. Is this still my region? No, that's Dol Guldur proper. The
Yes,
Naked
my
Hill.
This tower will keep vigil.
Oh, the Narrows extends much further out than first anticipated.
Your orders, my lord.
Well, we don't want to
Yes,
get
my
Gleerwine trapped in a settlement, so we'll send him out to build some towers. We do need to take Adrian, though. We can't allow them to have that, and I don't think they've got much in it, so a small elite army could take that. And by small and elite, what I mean is a general and a couple of trash units. Oh, Bjorn's Halls, actually. No, that's fantastic. You can build me an army worthy of Mordor, and then we'll take it out with Grimbeorn and take Erunrunen, because the elves are dicking around in the forest, for want of a better word, doing sod all, as they often do. We'll attack this fellow over here, though. We can't... Oh, the door went. Bear with me. 'Twas one of my sisters dropping off a birthday card. Shagoof! What does Shagoof actually have? So he's got 2 Snow Orc Raiders, 3 in fact. 1 Spear, Hunters himself, and Orc Hunters as well. Mountain Guard. No threat for Lord Bayon. We've got that army coming down the side. Oh, it's Marauder Chief Hazulg.
Have a taste of my blade.
Oh, that's interesting.
Your orders, my lord.
We can't really let Shagoof get closer to Goblin Town because they're going to go and defend it. We can't allow them to do that. But then where is Hazulg going? We can't really risk him going off on doing what we don't want. I think we're going to have to attack Shagoof. But I'm not going to do that today, and I'm going to end the episode there instead. I don't know how many minutes long it is, but it's enough. So I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. In the next one, we'll attack Shagoof, get him killed off, and then we'll try and see if we can beat Marauder Chief Hazulg to on his path south down the river. And just keep fighting Gundabad back whilst we focus our attention on just whittling down Dol Guldur. Now, I know, obviously, they've got Erin Hrunen. Sometimes I sound like such a snob. They've got Erun Runen. You don't need to roll the R quite so much. And they will have a town here. Possibly they have Brown Boat as well, actually. But we'll find... Yes, look. Hold on, let's zoom in. Yes, they have. They've got this region here. So the Narrows has not cut them north-south. They curl around us at the moment, which is quite a precarious position to be in. But they do have other enemies. Dol Guldur are at war with... Khazad-dûm, me, Woodland Realm, Lothlorien, and the Bandits. Lothlorien, I doubt, will be giving them much jip. But then actually, having said that, Lothlorien only give jip to Dol Guldur. They don't give very much jip, but they do give them some jip. The Woodland Realm, of course, will be doing sod all. As we've already mentioned, they can't even capture Enethauer, so Thranduil is a non-entity. We may have to actually assault him later on in the game. But for now, that will conclude this one. So thank you very much for watching. The next episode will be on around the end of the week, Friday, I expect. And then, as I say, there'll be a Skyrim and another lore video at the weekend. And that's all for now. So do have a fantastic day. It's Wednesday, I believe, this video goes live. I do hope you've enjoyed the return to Skyrim. I've certainly enjoyed playing it. Although my heart just wants to always play as an Aurelius-style character, saving the weak and following Arcade against all the undead. So it's very difficult not to play like that. But anyway, that's by the by. Until we speak again, Navarre den Melonin, and farewell.